Vanakkam, Namaste, and blessings to everyone across the globe. This is Priestess Bairavee Balasubramaniam, PhD, speaking to you from Madurai in South India, specifically in Tamil Nadu, the land of my own ethnic origins. I haven't done a video in quite a long while, and for those of you who've been following my work, or rather my lack of writings, I think I've been writing about significant changes and transformations that have been happening in my life as of late. Astrologically, you can of course correlate this to the very recent entry of Vesta in Aries, and for me, that is in my 10th house of being in the public eye, where my work in priestessing, my sense of self-expression, and all of these kinds of emphases will basically, come into play. But more profoundly and at a far deeper level, I find myself connecting with my own land, my own ethnic and cultural and genetic heritage in ways that I didn't quite expect. Today, I was at the shooting of a very, very popular talk show called Neeya Naana, and we were discussing this epic known as the Silappadikaram. And in this epic, this Tamil classical epic, much like the Iliad or the Ramayana, there is this iconic story about a woman named Kannagi, and she is constructed to be a very chaste and pious woman, a woman who stays loyal to her husband, who even strays off and goes with some other chick. But towards the end of the story, Kannagi's husband Kovalan is found guilty for a crime that he did not commit. Kannagi then confronts the king of the land of Madurai, and she shows him the error of his judgment. And as in any good priestess tradition or any good priestess centered epic, she basically calls upon the element of fire, and she metes out justice onto the land. I made this point, this argument. In fact, I was very, very nervous speaking about this, as everyone there, is someone who's spoken Tamil since birth, someone who's analyzed the text for decades and years and things like that. And here I am going in as somewhat of an outsider to, as a diaspora Tamil, as someone who didn't learn Tamil as a first language, as someone who, learned English first, going into that kind of a space felt like walking on hot coals. And I was terrified. I was nervous. But I knew I had to speak my truth in some way, because if I wasn't going to say it, nobody else would. So I go outside and I'm looking up at the sky and I just say, elements, land, help me. Help me say what I need to say. And so I'm standing in front of this, of the stage, in front of, surrounded by these people who are experts on this topic. And I basically, something speaks through me and it says, look, this is part of a forgotten goddess culture. I talk about Inanna and her myths and Sumeria and draw parallels with the text. And I talk about the ways in which this epic known as Silapathikaram, written in the Tamil language, is the swan song or the death song of essentially a matriarchal goddess-centric culture. And it depicts the shift into a fully patriarchal understanding of Hinduism, society, and sexuality. I mean, there's a lot more that I can speak about this and write about this, and I'm just giving the context so you guys know what I'm so excited about. I'm still calming down from this. It was quite a big step for me to take. Speaking about priestessing to a Western audience, which is already somewhat open to the idea of the divine feminine, is one thing. But standing in a land that claims to respect and worship the feminine whilst no longer allowing the priestess tradition to continue is a whole other kettle of fish. So I basically stood there and I just said, this land has forgotten its priestesses. I don't know if it's going to make the final edit. I'm very excited to see what they will put in and what they won't put in, but it's just one of those moments where I'm still in the process of coming down from that high, and I wanted to share it with those of you, especially those who are connected with an Indian heritage, those who are just interested in my own evolution and how I'm going forward, and those who, may want to see how I am coming forward embodying my own priestess path. And, I thought what I was doing a year before was pretty radical. This was something that came completely out of the blue. So, well, that's what's going on. I've not been writing or doing astrology as much as I used to. I know there's a giant wait list for the Vesta specials, but really my priestessing direction has become a whole lot more embodied a whole lot more in the public eye, and in a culture in which I thought there was no space to have that kind of discussion. And I guess I'm just pretty much helping to make that space come into being. So, false modesty isn't going to do any work here. I hope that, working with the land, working with the elements, I created a ripple, and who knows how many more priestesses are going to spontaneously come up, if they haven't done so already, and start to speak about this land and its ancient tradition and its ancient heritage. So, fingers crossed, we'll see what ripples this has, and God is blessed to everyone. So, there's a quick mini update from India. Blessings to everyone. I hope you're well, and vanakkam. Take care.